Question is, how much weight does a buyer's credit score carry? And then the other part of that is, do lenders also look closely at credit history patterns? So, for example, let's say there was a time when you had a bunch of late payments, but right now for the last year or 2 years, you haven't had any late payments. How much do they look at stuff like that?
Yeah, so very good question. When it comes to credit, it's like the key thing that opens the door in order for you to be eligible for consideration for approval. Um, First Horizon Bank, our score is 620. So you have to have a 620 score in order for us just to consider you for approval. Doesn't mean you're going to be approved, but just to be considered. So with
Right.
that being said, credit score is very, very important. I tell people bad credit is not a death sentence. Just because you have a certain score that's low, I promise you, it can always be turned around. You just have to be educated and informed on the
Right.
different avenues and different direction that you need to take to move the needle on your credit score. But the lenders are going to typically look at your Equifax score, your TransUnion score, and your Experian credit score. Most lenders are going to scratch out your lowest of the three, scratch out your highest of the three, and they're going to take the middle score. And that's the score that they will use for decision purposes. That's also the score that they use to determine what type of programs you qualify for. And it's also the score that they use to determine the level of interest rate that you receive. Customers with higher credit scores will typically receive a better rate than customers with the lower credit scores. So, with that being said, credit does weigh quite a bit when it comes to qualifying for buying a house and what your monthly payment is going to be, whether it's higher or lower, depending on the interest rate, depending on your credit score.